Hello, everyone. My name is Andreas Diaz. Me and Will are back again for another spectacular Marvel Plus talk. And today, finally, we're back for a TV weekly discussion. Of course, this is Moon Knight. Finally, it's here. Will, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very good. And I had the chance to see the show, and I'm very excited to discuss it. And this is episode 1. This is called what, the Goldfish Problem.
hmm
And yeah, so let's get into it. What's your overall thoughts on this episode?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm very curious to see like what the next episodes are going to be like.
Mm,
I thought Oscar Isaac's performance was really strong.
yes.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, no, it's I'm looking forward to seeing more.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And jumping in. Were you aware of this character, Moon Knight? Like, have you read his comics? And like, did
Um,
you
mhm.
do you know the character beforehand from the show arrive?
uh, Not personally, but I have
Okay.
a close friend who's a big fan of the 2009 run.
Mm. Is that the Jeff Lemire one, or
Um, I
I'm uh something
If you
like
give me 1 second, I can pull up
okay.
the
Um,
name.
if you get the name, let me put my thoughts right now.
Mhm.
I agreed. I think this was a great start for 2022 Disney Plus show. I think this is the best starting episode for any shows of Marvel cinematic universe. I think this was the most unique. I just love the performances of Oscar Isaac and of course Ethan Hawke, which I'm very
Mhm.
excited for in the show, especially him as a villain. Um, Everything about it is so like for me. The best part about this episode was it's self-contained. We had, I think this is like the less like it didn't feel like a Marvel Studios show. Like it felt like its own contained superhero story,
Mhm.
and so like that was very unique. And then also like adding the fact that this character, if you don't know Moon Knight, like the character Moon Knight has like a disorder of personality, split personality, and of course we have this character Steven. We're following throughout this episode. And then of course we have a couple of hints and mentions of Mark, who is the main character, of course, if you
Mhm.
know your history with Moon Knight. And like all that was great. Like it reminded me so much of Legion, and like this did not pull its punches in terms of being weird. Like I mean, you got
Mhm.
Isaac driving was a cupcake truck while you have the song Wham, the Before You Go Go, which is
Mhm.
so just artistically adore greatness. And that's like right away you make me just love the show even more. Um did you got the name from the run that you mentioned, the '09?
Yeah, it was actually the 2006 run from Charlie Huston.
Okay, okay. All right. I read the 1998 run. I actually made those as videos in the channel.
Mm.
So yeah, that one's also good too. That's with the Mark Spector personality and him being like a mercenary and all that. So okay, okay.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, let's. Where you want to go? Where you want to discuss? What was the first thing that made you kind of intrigued with this show?
Um, I guess just the I mean we can talk about that opening scene
Oh
of
yes,
Ethan Hawke's character
yeah,
ceremonially breaking the glass and putting it in his
feet,
sandals. Yeah.
yeah. Ooh, I when that happened, I was like, oh, okay, we're going this direction.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting for like a Disney Plus show to do that, and and just overall the religious aspect hasn't, like it's not like it hasn't toned down. Like it's obvious if you know your religious background or like the historic stuff, like if you're a historian person, like I really appreciate that. Like we haven't got rid of it in
Hmm.
Moon Knight. And recently I didn't know Moon Knight is Jewish, so I
Yeah.
didn't know that. So I'm kind of curious if we're gonna get that with this first season or miniseries, whatever we want to call it.
Hmm.
So yeah, the opening was really great. And one thing I like that you brought up Ethan Hawke's character, Howard. What was his character's name?
Arthur Harrow
Yeah,
or Harrow.
he's one of the comic book villains from Moon Knight. And one thing I really appreciate that right away we're getting rid of from last year's horrible trend was the mystery box of the villain. Um, I really appreciate we know who's the main antagonist. We
Hmm.
know what's like the main MacGuffin and like what's gonna happen.
Hmm.
With mostly the villain plot, where the hero and our protagonist is where we're kind of iffy about. Like I appreciate we still have some mystery, but it's with our hero where the villain thing is much more conveyed, straightforward. But it's just like what like how did we get to Mark uh, to Stephen Grant? That's
Hmm.
where I'm kind of curious where the series will answer that question.
Yeah.
Because I don't want another Mephisto and you know all that like crazy fan theories of who's the main villain of this whole show. So I'm very happy we're not going to go that road. We know that Ethan Hawke is the main villain,
Hmm.
and we know about his plan. And I like that we got his motivation. That's something that's been a big problem with the MCU villains for me. It's like we don't convey their motivation right away, and I appreciate that Ethan Hawke, his character, and it has a very clear motivation that he's after, and I really like that.
Hmm.
Um, and it was very unique to see he has some ability, but like we don't know, like is he full mystical person or not, um, like I really dug. What is those things that you like measure the money? Like what is that called? That too he has in his right arm.
The
Um,
scales.
the scales. Very neat way to tell like very visual storytelling of like, okay, we're gonna find out if you're good or bad, and
Hmm.
it's very cool how they visualize that, and it was very neat to see that. Um, but what do you think overall with the villain so far in this first episode?
Yeah, I thought he was interesting. I thought it was cool, like to see the power he had over the crowd in that
Yes.
town. That I don't think we know exactly where that town was yet,
No, I
but
don't think
um,
so.
yeah, um, just like the influence he had, the way that he had a very like commanding presence, even though he wasn't very like his movements were very
Yeah,
like
and
small and like cool and collected. And
yeah,
yeah.
and very threatening as well.
Hmm.
Like
Yes.
I like I kind of like we didn't shy away from like the occult like the occultist leader, which is a completely different direction from this character from the comics, where
Hmm.
he was a scientist in the comics, and then here we're playing up a lot of like the occult and like a occultist leader, like Charles Mason or whatever famous cult leader, it's like that, which it's very intriguing, and I'm very happy that we're not shying away from that,
Hmm.
which is good because yeah, you know like kind of like because you brought up in our previous podcast with Captain America where they were a little shy away from the Nazis um,
Hmm.
discussion. I kind of like here. Um, we don't know is he like a cult leader or like in a cult, but like you see the imagery there, and it's like very clear. Okay, he's kind of like this occultist leader, and I really appreciate that.
Hmm.
Which is good. Um, and speaking of Ethan Hawke, I was very happy we got the hero villain like interact, which is great because it helps to build up their relationship in the series and like help bring the intensity, the danger that the hero is facing with this villain. And that's very good because sometimes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe we don't do that. Like some of our heroes don't even know the villain, or like the villain is chasing after someone else that is not in the main story. Like Aaron Cross, like is the good example where his main agenda and storyline was like after the Pims, but not with Scott Lang, who was the main hero of the story. So I'm very happy we got the villain here interacting our hero, and well, one of our heroes' personality. um, but I really appreciate his conversation with Steven was pretty interesting, and I like how he said like you have a lot of chaos, which I love that line, and I think it was just I don't know, I just love Ethan Hawke, and I'm very excited for him to be in the MCU.
Yeah, no, I'm very surprised that he's in a Marvel project.
Yeah, I he made an interview before the series got rolling for this week. He said he was always interested to join in the franchise. It
Hmm.
was just, I think it was just like scale during, or like the project wasn't right for him, or like it just didn't feel right for him, and so this project just felt more right for him, and I think it's good because
Hmm.
like I don't know, like I he could be a good villain for like a grounded hero, and like I don't know, like I cannot see him as a cosmic villain, you know.
Hmm.
So I think him being like in this like low tier hero who's grounded, but you can still apply some supernatural stuff with it, and
Hmm.
it doesn't like distract me with his performance and all that, which I like. So and same thing with Oscar Isaac. Let's get into our main protagonist, or Stephen Grant or Mark Spector.
Hmm.
Um, I think our was Oscar Isaac.
Hmm.
Um, of course he's been in Star Wars. He's been in, he played Apocalypse in X-Men Apocalypse. I was kind of worried if he didn't want to go back to do a comic book, but I'm very happy he's in the MCU, which
Hmm.
is great because when we mentioned Doctor Strange for the first film, we mentioned he was like the contender, like the second, I think, or second or third choice, and he passed it on to join the X-Men, which I was totally like, he said he was a huge X-Men fan, and I
Right.
understand that, and so I'm very happy he's back. And what do you think about him in this episode? I mean, it's incredible. He just
Yeah.
totally owns it. I mean, I love his fake British accent,
Hmm.
especially when he calls his mom, and like he's is supposed to be a vegan, but then he isn't because he orders a steak, which is weird.
Yeah, it was weird.
Oh my god, it's just so
It's a weird
funny.
moment.
Oh my god, great moment, and oh my god, and I just love the show is doing the very like f up moments of like what the heck is going on, you know,
Hmm.
which is great. But what do you think about how they're handling his like split personality so far in this show?
Um, I think it's been like I think I'll like it more later.
Mhm.
Um, I
Okay.
think it makes sense that they started with Steven because you want to start with like the grounded one and then use
Mhm.
him as like an introduction to the rest of the character.
Yeah.
But, it did feel a lot like they'd set up something cool and then he'd black out and he'd wake up after the cool thing had happened, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Um,
Um,
but no, I think future episodes, like they're obviously not gonna. do it like that the whole time. We're gonna get to see Mark, and possibly other personalities. So um,
Yeah,
yeah, I think it'll be good.
yeah, and speaking of personalities, he has three. And my question is, do you think they're gonna do like original personalities that was not from the comics? What do you think?
Um, I don't know. Probably not.
Okay.
I'd say at least. I mean, from what I understand, this iteration of Steven is very different from the one in the comics.
Oh yes. Um,
And so they might have like other personalities that are just like they share a name with one from the comics, but aren't
mm,
uh, one-to-one
101.
adaptations.
That's true. That's very true. And speaking of difference, um, it's funny you're saying Steven as the most grounded. It in the comics, we haven't discussed like he's like a I mean he's a ripoff of Batman, and and Steven is the billionaire playboy. So
Okay, the
yeah,
Bruce Wayne personality.
yeah, so Steven is that the Bruce Wayne
Okay,
type, and it's kind of funny in this different version of Steven we're having in the show is like a museum. What was his job? What was his job?
he works at the gift shop.
Gift shop. Like he was like a
Yeah.
which that was funny. Like that annoying woman was like, or Donna, like in like she was
I
so.
I'm not
Oh,
gonna call her annoying.
I mean,
She's his boss, and he's late for work every day. Like
yeah,
she's doing her job.
yeah, but you
Like
can.
the narrative is framed around Steven, so we're on his side. But from her perspective, it does make a lot of sense to be
Well,
tired of this man who
no,
just
no,
doesn't show up for work.
yes, but like you could be consider Steven having maybe some illness or he's coming from one direction. I don't know how far his location is through London. Like I don't know. I don't know. I just felt like she was like very mean spirited, but then at the same time, I cannot trust Steven. Like what,
Mhm.
like, like especially like how you don't know you ask a girl out and then how you don't remember that. I don't know. I don't know. Like I don't trust Donna. She's just I don't know. I don't
Okay.
trust that lady. Anyway, and like he was helpful. Like he was teaching the kid like a cool lesson. It's like come on. Like I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
Um.
her shutting down his dream of being a tour guide is pretty cruel.
Mhm. Yeah. That's why. That's why I don't like that. And
Yeah,
then I mean, I don't know. I don't know. But I'm not gonna do that. But like, but for for this perspective, I just think she was just too mean to Stephen. That's all I'm
okay.
saying.
Yeah,
Uh,
you're definitely supposed to feel that way as the viewer. It's
exactly.
like there was a lot of stuff she was saying. It was like that makes sense
Yeah.
if he's late all the time.
Yeah. Well,
You
I
should
don't.
be annoyed.
Yeah, it should be annoying. I am like it's kind of sad. And then what was it? The guard who was in that museum like was
Hmm.
also like
Very
not
rude.
yeah very rude.
Yeah,
Like he didn't even remember the name. He was like
yeah.
calling him what was it like
Scott, I think.
yeah Scott. And it was like really, and I love this moment because of Oscar Isaac's performance. And he was like, my name is Steven, and then he says goodnight. Like that was like a good moment.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, that whole scene was very intriguing, and it right away tells you that Steven is not in his head right away. Like the fact that he didn't even remember the date, like the date that he proposed to that lady we saw, and all that. So
Mhm.
uh, yeah, and when he got finished with his job, he meets with that what do you call those? Oh my god, like that guy who's like standing still. I don't know that name.
Like a human statue,
Yeah,
I
the human
think.
statue.
Living statue.
Yeah, I like that one. That was a cool moment of him like talking to the statue human person, and like
Mhm.
just like I don't know, it was just a very like it kind of combines like Wes Anderson meets Legion, and like I could see that from David doing that if we seen another season maybe, but whatever. So, but yeah, um, so what was so after that he goes to the house. It was very intriguing to see like he strapped himself to his leg, and then he does that like I don't know, that like sand thing to do like a spiritual blocking of like the spirits away from him.
Oh, I
uh
thought it was just to like if you got up in the middle of the night, there'd be footprints.
oh, okay. Like okay, so with this one, so for he was doing something that was like you put like how like the occultist detectives or stuff like that do spells or like do like meditation, connect to the spirit world,
Hmm.
right? They always do like that chalk thing in the floor.
Yeah.
Like I think that's what Steven or whoever was controlling Steven's mind, either Mark or the third one we haven't mentioned, Jake. His third persona that we haven't met yet is maybe protecting him from maybe evil spirits. This is after Mark and his mind, maybe, but whatever.
Hmm.
That's what it is. But you know, but we'll see. We'll get the answer soon. um, and then of course we got the goldfish, and I don't know if you have this, but like I actually had like a like what the f moment in the scene where he sees, excuse me, his fish the second time,
Hmm.
and I didn't notice the fin was missing. Like
Hmm.
I had to watch the scene again. And I was like, wait a minute, I don't like because it's funny how the lady mentioned Nemo, and it's like I. I didn't see a missing fin. If I'm losing my mind here, Will, or like is that true? Like that first fish was missing, and then the second one apparently is a new fish, and like he
Yeah.
has to like help me
Yeah.
out
The
here.
the first one only had uh, a fin on the um, I think
Left.
the right side.
Mm, okay.
And then when he was on his phone with he said it was his mom in the beginning when he was like
Yes.
calling someone.
Calling. Yep.
Um, he mentioned the fish only having one fin as he was feeding the fish.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. That makes more sense now because I was like, what is going on here? They're totally messing with me in that moment. And then he talks to the lady again, another rude um, person. I don't know if you have that opinion, but this you know pet owner shopper um, was telling him that he was there the day before, and like he saw the time and he was like late for the date. And then this is another word that totally messed my mind, is that it was like 2 days. It was now Sunday, and like it wasn't Friday. That's so funny, and I was so sad for this character Steven, and like, and this is where like he was a vegan, and then he contradicts his vegan by ordering meat.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like the most funny scene. And I think that was like, and just as an accent, just nailing. Yes. I want to order some steak, and then like he just say like like you're supposed to say "well done" with your order, or I don't know what was the other way you say it, like cook well. I guess
Well, you just yeah, rare
like
to well done.
where or what? Yeah,
And then,
like I'm trying to figure out what my parents say. Like they never. One time they don't say "well done." They say like, well, I guess the way you ask first. Like they ask you if you want your order to well done, right? But yeah, yeah. And so he walked, he ordered that, and then we get the cut scene where he throws the flowers in the garbage, he eats the chocolate, and
Mhm.
this is cool. He gave the chocolate to the second fish, whatever the second fish is called.
Mhm.
Um, and he doesn't eat it compared to the first fish we saw in the beginning of the episode. So it's a neat detail to see the difference between that fish and the missing fin fish. So that's kind of cool. So he dropped the chocolate, and then he gets to the phone, and I was kind of wondering, the we got Leia, who is this love interest we're gonna get through the series. It was very interesting to get her right away in the episode, and right away she mentions Mark, and then Steven gets kind of panicking, like who's Mark, and then he gets out of his the apartment, and then we get the this other character. Let me get this character's name is uh that what's that skeleton person that was
Was it
talking
Khonshu?
Kanchu. Yeah, we got our first glimpse of Kanchu, and right away Mr. Mary Hammond, that's the actor's name, or if I'm
F.
saying,
Murray Abraham.
yeah, Hammer, yeah, F A Hammerhand. He's such a great actor. I love him. He really brings a Kachu to life, and I just love his interaction to Steven.
Hmm.
Like, don't give this was it
Scarab.
the scarab to the villain. It was funny how Mark was trying to keep this the scarab away. That was the most funny scene in the episode, and and then it was just funny. And my favorite line from this episode is like he didn't have a driver license, and
Hmm.
and he's driving so well, and that's so funny. Um, During the cupcake truck scene, uh, I don't know, and the design is pretty good, and I think so far the special effects is pretty good in this first episode, especially with that dog creature that we have towards the end of the episode,
Hmm.
which is really cool, and yeah, it was very neat. Yeah, I think um, the 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 character Akachu is really interesting, and hopefully we see more of him in the show. Because I'm surprised we didn't see like a full glimpse of the character, besides the elevator scene. Um, and what was your favorite moment from the show? Like, what was the funniest moment you think it was in the show in this
The
first episode?
funniest moment.
Hmm.
Um, I really liked the line, "Oh, great, the idiot's in charge."
Yes,
Um, yeah, I just
yes.
Khonshu's like sassy narration was fun.
Oh my god, it's
Um,
so funny. The E is controlling the body, Steven. Oh my god. Oh god, it's so funny. God. Um what else that we got here? Was there anything else notable in the flashback, or when Steven was at that like unknown location?
um, I don't know. I liked him trying to like run away from the cult members.
Mm, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of cults, when uh, here's another funny moment. When Steven meets up Ethan Hawke's character, he mentions Avatar, and
Hmm.
Steven mistakenly thinks it was the movie. So that one was another funny moment that
Hmm.
I really enjoy. And the blue people in the film, the blue people love that film. That's what he say.
Hmm.
So
And then he
it's
mentions the cartoon.
oh yes, yeah, Avatar: The Last Airbender, right?
Hmm.
So that was pretty cool. But yeah, I think overall, I think this first episode was really great, and I guess is it your first? Is it your favorite like first episode starter out of the Disney Plus shows, or is it like um low on your list? What do you think? You think this?
Um, I wouldn't say it's low,
Okay,
but it doesn't beat WandaVision for me, uh, or Loki, but
no,
I would say it's after them.
okay,
It feels
yeah,
like it's off to a stronger start than uh, Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Hawkeye.
I agree. And this is the first show we're dealing with a new character. Um,
Yeah, it's true.
yeah, this is because we this and Miss Marvel is going to be the new like new characters we don't know, and like this is kind of like an origin series or like a
Hmm.
sorts. I mean, um, for these characters to for the wider audience. So I'm kind of curious how this series will be well received and like how these episodes gonna like you know, stay up up to form. There's always gonna be like an up and down in each episode
Hmm.
depending like what you're gonna get from the episode. So I'm very curious what we're gonna get from this series. Despite we're gonna get a very unreliable narrator from Mark, and with the personality of Steven, and then maybe Jack, who's gonna be in the show, maybe. Um, so I'm very curious to see because besides that, I don't think we're gonna get another returning character. Maybe like I know what Secret Invasion is next year, maybe, but we'll see. So, so I'm very curious how this show is going to perform. I, I agree. I think this is better than the Falcon and the Winter Soldier first episode and Hawkeye. Um, I think this right away show its personality, and I really like we started right away
Hmm.
uh, from the show, which is good because sometimes you get this first episode being very slow and like it's trying to set up so many things at the same time. Here, I was very happy we didn't have that problem, which is good.
Hmm.
Uh, and next week, I want to do this. Like, you have any projections for next week? Do you think we're going to get Mark in full force in next episode?
Yeah, I think we'll see a little more of Mark
Okay.
in episode 2. I hope we do.
Yeah, I hope we
Um,
do. I like,
yeah, I think him taking over at the end means that the second episode will be more about Mark.
yeah. And by the way, the costume is awesome.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, it is.
I think another great achievement from this year is just the costumes are just hitting right away, and I love this costume. Um, and I'm very excited to see the other costume, the Mr. Knight. Uh,
Yeah.
I was shocked that we were gonna get that character right away in this series, and that's kind of cool to see. Um,
Hmm.
I think that's one. That one is from like the Jeff Lemire run
Okay.
of yeah. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, and and this episode was I think directed by one of the Bad Boys directors, I think, um or someone else. I maybe it should be
Was it?
no, no, I'm sorry. The Bad Boys directors are in Miss Marvel. Just think of something else.
Yeah,
Uh
I think the director for this was an Egyptian director.
okay, yeah.
I don't think he's done any
Big
like,
budget movies.
yeah.
Yeah. The one person that I did recognize in the credits was Jeremy Slater. So he's another big one. He did the one with the 2015 version of Fantastic Four. I mean, his version didn't get to the final product we got.
Hmm.
He did like Death Note, and he's the head writer for this show, which is cool. So,
Okay. Looks
um,
like he also works on Umbrella Academy.
yes, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is also good too.
Yeah, I
Um,
like that show.
yeah. I don't know if you have read his first draft of the FF 2015. That was way better than than the product we got at the end. I would say he had pretty good ideas, and I think they shouldn't take that. Um, but yeah, so and overall, I think the show is very good. I really enjoyed the music. I think the music was spot on. I love the music choices they did for this. Speaking of the opening, like we got a Bob Dylan song. The was it the Grants of Sand song he
Hmm.
has. Great one. I love Bob Dylan, so that was cool. And then of course, I mentioned Wham uh, song, which is great. I think that was the best song they used. Was really cool, and yeah, and the score that we have here is also really great. And I love the title sequence. I don't know if you like this title
Hmm.
sequence. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
Um, I think I really enjoyed the keeping up the Egyptness of it, which is cool. So very nice. Any more thoughts, Will, on episode 1 of Moon Knight?
Just that I'm excited to see what's coming next.
Yeah. Yep, I agree, and I'm very, very so happy that we're having another TV weekly discussion because
Hmm.
it was oh my god, it's been since December after Hawkeye, and it
Yeah.
was way too long. Um, but yeah, so we know we got this for next 6 weeks. I mean, 5 weeks now,
Hmm.
and then we got the Doctor Strange film coming up, and then of course Miss Marvel is the next show we have, which is very cool and very neat. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, yeah. So, any more thoughts on this episode, Will? Did we cover everything we had to discuss?
Yeah, that's it for me.
All right, cool. Well, thank you, Will, for joining me. This was a fun discussion of Moon Knight.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. And thank you everyone for listening to this podcast. Me and Will will be back for next week for another Moon Knight discussion. Have a nice day, everyone, or have a nice week, everyone, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.